Hi everyone, today I've got the absolutely wonderful Avena with me. Avena, please could you introduce yourself and share how you were drawn to Avalon?
Hi everyone, I'm Avena. I'm the daughter of Katinka, and I've been coming to conference since I was 6 years old, which I think goes to show how important it is for me in my life and what a huge impact it has made on me that I'm still coming back all these years later. It itself is one of the things that drew me to Avalon, really. I probably wouldn't have known about this town or this place without the conference. And I've been coming since I was 6, and a lot of my friends and my formative years have been here, and for that it holds a very special place in my heart, this landscape, even though now I don't spend so much time here.
How do you experience and express your spiritual path day to day?
This is a really interesting question for me because it's something that's changed quite a lot over the years. I mean, spirituality has always been really important to me. How can it not have been after growing up in the goddess tradition, really? But it's become, in the last, since I sort of became an adult, it's become more intrinsic and less needing to be, less on show in a way, I guess. I think for me, every time I go for a walk in nature, this is me practicing my spiritual path. Every time I take a moment with a beautiful tree like this amazing grandmother lime that we're with today is me practicing my spiritual path. Every time I go for a swim in cold water, which is something I love to do, this is me practicing my spiritual path. It's in the noticing of the world around me and the way in which I can connect with nature and also with other people in a way that is aware and heartfelt and real and alive to the magic that is running under the surface of everything. I would say that magic and that life force has become more important and more valuable to me than the personifications that we give it, and those personifications can be and have been in my life really useful for looking at certain elements of human life or universal truths, but increasingly it's more the life force and the spirit in everything that I feel really connected with and drawn to, and that's how I choose to express my spiritual path, is in marking the seasons and being aware of when the spring is arriving and noticing it. For me, this is noticing the changes in the land and how that affects me, and the changes in people, and just being just being aware, singing and dancing and being alive, and really somehow honouring all the different aspects of being alive, even the really painful parts, even the depressions and the anxieties, and just having space for them in my life, as well as all the amazing, joyous, fun things. And I think for me, I was writing my thesis for my university degree, and it was about water. And I wrote a sentence in there which feels increasingly true the more I think about it, which was, I was talking about the sea, and I said it's a place of play and prayer, and aren't those two the same thing? So I think for me, my spiritual path and spirituality is a lot about playfulness in a really alive way. And I think we have the tendency as a species, and especially in this town, which I do love, we take ourselves a little bit too seriously. So I enjoy doing things that kind of can subvert that and be like, we're all just alive on this rock hurtling through space trying to make sense of it. Let's enjoy it even when it's, or let's find joy in it, maybe, rather than enjoy it. Let's find joy in it.
In all of your years in Avalon and being part of the conference and working with the goddess, have you encountered aspects of the Crone? And how do you work with the Crone, or how would you say that any experiences you have had with her may have influenced or inspired you?
This is also a really interesting question, I think, because I think at first glance or initially my answer would maybe be no, but then the more I think about it, I can see the Crone in a lot of aspects of things, especially things that I'm working with a bit more at the moment. I can't pinpoint a exact experience, but I mean, being part of the conference has allowed me to access and experience different aspects of life in general, as we've had different years celebrating different aspects of life. And so I think that's been quite important, different Crone conferences that have happened over the years, and experiencing that and what that means. And I think for me, somehow the Crone is about the wisdom of death and the fertility of death. I have been exploring this topic quite a lot recently, is the fertility of death and how we have to let things die, and maybe they will give life somehow in some way, either rotting down to compost or sprouting new seeds to something else that is equally beautiful and magical, but in a new way. And somehow how if we're making collaborative projects, which is something I've been starting to do, we have to let our own dreams and our own ideas die to allow space for a group vision to be born. So I think that in this aspect, the Crone is kind of present in my life at the moment, is in this fertility of death, and how death and the harder parts of life, the more uncomfortable parts of life that we tend to not really want to look at, can be really sacred in their own way, and really can be quite revered if we give them the space, and can then give us a lot of learning about ourselves and about the world around us. So for me, that's quite an important part. So for me, giving space to death and to the uncomfortable parts of life is, again, I guess, it's part of my spiritual practice and my path, and how, especially in the state the world is in at the moment, and a lot of my work at the moment is looking at the environmental state of the world, which is not a hopeful thing, and learning how to look at things from the other side of hope, and let hope as a concept go a little bit, let it go, let it lie, and not cling so desperately to it, but look at the fact that there is a lot of death and there is a lot of pain and suffering, and the world is not in a good state, and it's quite terrifying. And to see how we can find something of meaning in the meaninglessness of it all. As I talk about this, I feel quite guided and held by the Crone aspect of, like, yes, all things end, and that it's part of a cycle. There is no like cut off like end and then there's nothing, because there's always seeds growing.
Avena, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your wisdom and sharing your words. On behalf of everyone that listened, we really loved this, and we're so looking forward to seeing you at the conference.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great.